Hi Libra, welcome to your Sealing the Timeline reading. There's an astrological event coming up and it has something to do with Saturn and Jupiter waking up and going direct and all that stuff. I in no way am an astrologer, but I did put a link in the description below. It is a link to Psychic Sounds by B, and she talks about this astrological event. And apparently what's going to happen is on September the 14th, this astrological event is going to end, and whatever energies we have carried with us to that date will continue to affect our lives for the next 12-year cycle to come. So I know that, like with myself, there are things that I've been working on that I would not care to continue to experience over the next 12 years. So I felt like this would be an important reading, not only for myself, which I did do, but to share with you and your signs also. Now, this is a collective reading, so it may not resonate with everybody, and if it doesn't resonate with you, please check out your moon and rising signs. If you still don't feel like you are getting any kind of clarification, please feel free to email me for a private reading. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to pull 4 energy cards, okay? We want to look at your energy in regard to love, romantic love. We want to look at your energy in regard to money and finances. We're going to look at your energy in regard to family, friends, co-workers, and we're going to look at your energy in regard to health and wellness. And we're going to ask Spirit, in every instance, after we draw those cards, what can we do to, or what is it that Spirit wants us to consider in those areas of our life to move into this next cycle. This is going to be a longer reading, like I said, and I will be taking my time. But we're going to do this because there's some things that I sure don't want to carry for 12 more years. And I would imagine that there's some things that you also would not want to carry. But if you're like me, some things you just kind of say, oh, it's okay. Oh, that's fine. There's some things that we don't want to look at within ourselves that possibly Spirit thinks would be important for us to look at. So, God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, we thank you so much for giving us messages through the tarot. We ask you to guide us in this cycle coming up, this 12-year cycle. We're looking for clarification, confirmation, and validation, and the things that you would have us to work on over the next few weeks, and so that we can live in alignment with our higher self through this next 12-year cycle. In regards to love, please show us what it is that Libra should consider when through this next 2 or 3 week period to prepare for the next 12-year cycle. Show us clearly in regard to love, what energies does Libra need to consider when moving forward into this next 12-year cycle? Okay, we're getting temptation. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the truth. When I did my personal reading, this is the card I got. So I'm just letting you know. This is temptation. Now, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the devil. It has to do with worldly attachments, can be addictions, self-sabotaging thoughts, anything like that. But we're going to get more clarification on that after a while whenever we pull the cards. We're going to get each energy, and then we're going to pull the clarification cards. Then we're going to dig into each message. So this is a little bit different reading. I'm kind of freelancing this reading. Okay, in regard to money, show us clearly what is it that Libra needs to consider in regard to the next few weeks to be able to live in alignment with their higher self in regard to money. And we're getting shadow. Okay? And then in regard to family and friends and coworkers, what is the energy that Libra should consider over the next few weeks to be able to walk into the next 12-year cycle in alignment with their higher self? Show us clearly, and we thank you for clarification, validation, and confirmation. And we get accelerated motion. Okay, and then the last one is health and wellness. And we're asking God, guides, our angels, our archangels, and the Holy Spirit, show us clearly what is it that Libra should consider in the next few weeks as they move toward this 12-year cycle to be able to live in alignment with their higher self through the next 12 years. We thank you for these clear messages. And you're getting financial and material changes. That's a weird one to get in under health and wellness, but hey, they know what they're talking about. They always do. Okay, we're going to use the Fairy deck by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. This deck, the fairies always have a lot to say. So we're going to tap into the fairy energy and find out, get clarification on these cards. So in regard to temptation and Libra, in the next few weeks, show us clearly, clarify for us, why does temptation show up in the love section, the love category of this reading, to be able to live their lives in alignment with their higher selves through the next 12-year cycle. Okay, we're going to pull 3 cards, see what that is. We're getting Ace of Winter. We're getting Queen of Spring. And we're getting King of Autumn. Okay. And in regard to money, please clarify for us, what is the shadow card doing in the category of money for Libra to consider over the next few weeks to be able to walk into this 12-year cycle in alignment with their higher self? Show us clearly, what is this card, the shadow card, doing there? Okay, and we're getting Strength. We're getting the Prince of Spring. And we're getting the 7 of Winter. Okay. And in regard to family, friends, and co-workers, show us clearly, what is this accelerated motion card doing in this category of family, friends, and co-workers, to be able to give Libra something to consider over the next few weeks to walk into their next 12-year cycle in the highest alignment, their best alignment to their higher self. Okay. And you're getting the 10 of Autumn, the King of Winter, and the 3 of Winter. Okay. Also in the health and wellness, we have material and physical changes. Show us clearly, why is this showing up in our spiritual category for Libra to consider over the next few weeks in regard to the 12-year cycle that's coming up and them being able to walk into it in alignment with their higher self. Show us clearly, what is this card doing here? And we're getting the Princess of Spring, the 8 of Summer, and the 10 of Winter. Okay. So now I'm going to put on my glasses and we're going to dig into these messages and find out what is it that Spirit wants to say to you in regard to these subjects. And we're going to start with that devil, love. Everybody wants to know about love. And again, temptation is about worldly attachments, earthly attachments, material attachments. It's about hanging on to things that we don't need to hang on to. It's about self-sabotaging thoughts and things like that. So we started out with the Ace of Winter, which is the same card as the Ace of Swords. This talks about breakthroughs and things like that. So it says, don't be deterred by challenges along the way. It's important to communicate clearly and accurately. Amazing new ideas should be implemented. So I'm picking up on this. It's important to communicate clearly and accurately. This is telling me, going in, that some of you out there, Libra, are not communicating your needs. You're not speaking your truth about yourself. You're not speaking the truth about how you feel about a relationship. And you're just allowing it to, excuse me, just a second. You're not speaking your truth. Sorry. You're just allowing this relationship just to kind of cruise along because it's easier. It's easier to do that than it is to state what it is that you truly need in your life, okay? And that is what you call self-sabotaging behavior because you don't take care of yourself in that relationship. Now, imagine that. Your next one is believe in yourself. Okay, until you truly believe in yourself and believe that you're worthy of the kind of love that you desire, you're not going to have it. So it's telling me right now that you are in or have had relationships that have not been up to your level. They've not been what you're worthy of. They've not been what you deserve. They've been, and not speaking down about the people. I'm talking about the relationship because everybody is so different. I'm just going to give you an example. My ex-husband, super guy. I mean, I'm telling you, you could not ask for a better guy. We just have two different mindsets about things. Everything from parenting to career and money, all that stuff. It's just so different. But actually, that's a long story. But anyway, he's a great guy. So I would never talk bad about him and say, he wasn't good enough for me, because that wasn't the case. We're just two different people. We are great friends. Our kids will tell you, they're all grown, but they'll all tell you, we'd rather our parents be friends than married, because we're good friends, but we're not good married. So this doesn't mean that this is a bad person. It could be, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the relationship is not in alignment with your higher self, in alignment with your best self, okay? And then the last thing that you get is, be assertive when it comes to what you want. And that's what their advice is for you. Okay, Libra, you're a good person. If you walk into this next cycle still in this relationship, or still thinking about this relationship, or longing for it, or missing it, or whatever the case may be, however this relationship has you bound, if you walk into this next cycle feeling that way, that's what you're going to have for the next 12 years. Not necessarily with this one person, if there is a person, but I'm talking about those repeated relationships. You'll continue, you'll leave one and get into another one, and it's going to be the same thing. Not maybe the same exact thing as far as the issues, but overall, it's going to not be in the best interest, in alignment with your higher self and with all that you really are, with all that God and the Holy Spirit and the spirit guides and the angels, that they know who you are and they know what's best for you. And right now they're saying you are floating along in this relationship for whatever reason, and you're not speaking up for what your needs are. You're thinking you're not worthy of it. And you're not getting the breakthrough, and then you don't believe in yourself, and you're not stating clearly what it is that you need in your life, and you maybe have not even figured it out for yourself in your own mind. So perhaps they're wanting you to figure out what it is that you want as far as love goes. And if you're in a relationship now and this is the case, you might want to consider whether or not this is the kind of relationship you want to be in for the next 12 years. Another thing that you might want to consider is, if you're not in a relationship now, sit down and write out the things that are important to you. I know people say that all the time, and sometimes we don't even do it. But if somebody asked me today, what do I want in love, I'd have a hard time defining it, because it's really not utmost important in my life right now. So this is what they're saying. Think about yourself for a little while. Think about yourself. Think about what you want, and know you're worthy of it. Believe in yourself to not only manifest it into your life, but that you're worthy of it. Okay? That's love. let's talk about money. You're getting the shadow, and the shadow is the same card actually as the moon, and it is very elusive. This right here, we're looking at shadow work is what I'm looking at. We're looking at shadow work. This is my outside face. This is who I am behind closed doors, or when I'm all alone in the dark, or whenever I'm facing my worst fears. This is the person I don't want anybody to see, okay? So you have a couple things going on possibly with your money where for all intents and purposes, people on the outside think everything's grand. Look at you, you drive a new car. Look at you, you have a brand new house. All this stuff, oh, you must be rolling in the dough. But the truth is you're drowning in debt possibly, or I don't know. Let's see what the cards say. Okay, so but this is about the things that people don't see in the darkness, the things that they're not aware of. So this is coming up with your money, and basically what it's saying is yeah. The first thing it's telling you is that whatever this situation is, you have the strength to overcome it. Not only the strength, but the grace, the ability to overcome it. The strength card is actually Leo's card, but this woman right here, she's not concerned. She's got the lion and the lamb together, okay? There's peace there. So they're asking you to work on your inner peace about all this stuff. Acknowledge where you are, accept where you are, and then possibly figure out, what could be a practical plan to move forward to where your goals actually are. But the main thing is to be honest with yourself and that shadow side. Okay, don't fear that. Acknowledge it and then work on it, because you have the strength and the ability to do so. So the Prince of Spring talks about immediate action. Okay, this doesn't mean that you have to figure it out before this astrological event, okay? But you do need to immediately start paying attention to it. It's something that has bothered you for quite some time. It's something that every time somebody says, oh wow, you must be rolling in the dough. I used to own a jewelry store, and I also owned a Range Rover. I bought it when it was 3 years old. Had 40-something thousand miles on it. I still paid more for it than most people pay for a regular car, but I loved my Range Rover. I still love my Range Rover. But people would drive up at the store if I'd be just getting there or whatever, and I'd be getting the car. A couple of people did this. Man, you must be balling because look at that ride, and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, okay, it's financed to the hilt. It's 3 years old, and just different things like that. And it's like, whenever people would say that, it's like it would make me feel so small, because I thought to myself, they have no clue, how much debt I have. They don't even know. So you're struggling with something similar to that. I'm not going to say it's exactly that, but something similar to that. You're struggling with that. And they're saying you have the strength to overcome that. You have the strength to figure out a different way to look at it, or a different way to do it. But they want you to start immediately. They want you to start working on that immediately, because they want you to be grounded in your ideas of how you're going to how it's going to play out by the time this astrological event ends. Okay, this is important stuff, and like I said, sometimes it's stuff that we're not looking at, that we keep thinking, oh, I can deal with that later, I can deal with that later. But that link for that explanation of what's about to happen is in the description, so please check it out. This is not a scary thing. It's your choice. Everything's your choice. It's not a scary thing. Nobody's getting punished. It's just the way energy works. It's just the way everything that was ever created has a purpose. Okay? And so Saturn is the planet of karma. Some people call it karma. Some people call it reaping, sowing. Some people call it reciprocity. Whatever it is, it's whenever, we do certain things, so there's a consequence. Certain other things happen. That's the way it is. So it's not like anybody's getting punished. It's what's going to happen. Seven of Winter is another one that you got. Now, the Seven of Winter is the same as the Seven of Swords in the regular tarot or tarot. And it says there's a better choice. And basically that's what they're telling you. And you know what? The other thing is about this card is you have to stop worrying about what other people think. Our society sucks sometimes, because it makes us believe that we have to keep up with the Joneses, that we have to be consumers, that, we have to have every new thing and gadget and everything. And we get sucked into that. And sometimes it, puts us in a bad bind. So there's a different way to think about it. There's a different way to look at it. And that's what Spirit's wanting to tell you, to look at it differently. There's a different way to look at it. And don't worry about what other people think about you and your decisions, because you're doing what's best for you to walk into this next cycle of your life and live in alignment with your higher self, in what's in alignment with who you really are and who you came here to be. Okay, and it looks like with family and friends, you pretty much have it going on. We're looking at accelerated motion, which means that things are going to keep moving along just the way that they're moving at the moment, in a good positive way, in a good positive motion forward. So you value your family and your friends, and possibly your coworkers too, likely your coworkers too, because this is kind of, I grouped them all together. But you value them, and you value your relationship with them, and you're even grateful for them. See how she's looking up at the star? She's very grateful for this positive and accelerated motion. So it looks like you're really in pretty good shape there. The 10 of Autumn is the fairy tale card. It's like this thing that you have going on with your family and friends, and you may not have a husband or kids, but you may be in a tight-knit family with brothers and sisters, and then friends and coworkers and stuff like that. It's pretty fulfilling. I mean, this is the happily ever after card. It's the husband and the wife and the 2.5 kids and the picket fence and all that stuff. That's what this card is, if that's what your fairy tale is. But if that's not what you're looking for, whatever your relationships are, it's very emotionally fulfilling, is what I'm trying to say, according to this. He also is very, whenever I say he, I'm talking about God, but Spirit is also very, I want to say admirous, but I don't know if that's a word, but admires you or congratulates you or wants to acknowledge you, because when it comes to your family, you are like if somebody talks about one of your friends or your family, it's like you don't get all emotional or anything. You just cut to the chase and say, that's not true, or shut up, or whatever. You don't take anybody else's ideas about who your family is. You're protective of them, but you're not overly protective. How much I'm trying to say something, and I'm fighting with words. You're very astute. You're very solid in your relationships with them. So for somebody to say to you that one of your family members stabbed you in the back, or one of your family members blah, 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 whatever it is, you're like, whatever you think, go ahead and think it, because you know better. You know better in your heart. You don't allow that for that kind of drama to come into your life, is what I'm trying to say. You don't allow for the drama. They do want to say that they see that you've suffered some loss, and you are somewhat hanging on to this loss, okay? And I hate talking about this, but I have to say what they're saying. I'm sorry. I'm feeling like you've lost a child. And sometimes you tend to be so caught up in the loss of that child that you forget about the rest of the family, who you love dearly, who you absolutely love dearly, and you have so much to be grateful for. And you value them, and they know it. But sometimes you get caught up in this heartache from that loss. And they want you to know that, the best way that you can honor this loss is to live your life fully, because this loss, whoever it was I'm sorry, whoever it was that you lost is with you all the time. They're watching you, and whenever you hurt, it hurts them. So to honor them, live your life to the fullest. And I know that's hard to say. It's hard. It's easy to say, hard to do. But also watch for them to make themselves known to you, because they are still here. They're still with you, and Spirit, God is just wanting you to know that don't allow this heartache, this loss, and it could have been a parent, it could have been a sibling. I'm feeling like it was a child, but what they're saying is, don't get so caught up in this that you forget to honor what you already have going on, or what you still have going on and still have to be grateful for. Okay, that was a tough one. Health and wellness. We are looking at financial and material changes. Okay, I think earlier I said physical and material changes, but this is financial and material changes. So I'm anxious to see how they connect that with health and well-being. And I think I see. So remember earlier I was talking about this, how, we put on this front to others, but in the dark, we worry about all the debt that we have, okay? So that can affect our health and our well-being, okay? Fear and worry are the very worst things that we can live in. They're the very worst things that we can accommodate in our hearts. Very worst things. So this right here says, be optimistic and be enthusiastic. In other words, whenever these things start to worry you, the debt or anything else with finances, whenever that starts to worry you, take that opportunity to look for something to be grateful for. You can't ignore your bills. You can't ignore your obligations. I understand that. But when okay, so let's say this is the case. Let's say you just lost your job and the mortgage is due, and it's due tomorrow. There's not a damn thing you can do about it today. But you're going to sit there and worry. And what they're saying is, please think of something better to do, because here's why. I'm telling you why it's in health and wellness. I'm telling you why. Because it's affecting your health and your wellness and your spirituality. It's almost like you're losing faith in God or whoever it is that you worship. It's like you're feeling like they left you. What is the deal here? But this is just an example. So the mortgage is due tomorrow, and you don't have the money to pay it. And what can you do? There's nothing you can do today. But all of this worry and all of this fear, our body has built into it a system. It was created to take care of itself, which means to heal itself and protect itself. So whenever we release fear and worry into our body, it sends a signal to our brain, and then our brain releases cortisol and other hormones that are meant to help us protect ourselves and save ourselves from whatever dragon is out there to get us. I'm not kidding. That's how it works. So this chemical comes into our body, and the longer we sit in that, the longer it keeps going in there. So our body's not meant to live in that much stress. But that hormone is important because there are times when we need that. You've seen the videos on the internet or on TV of a mother picking a car up off of her kid. That was that miraculous pharmacy in her brain releasing the adrenaline and all that stuff that she needed to lift that car up. It's there for a reason. But whenever we sit and sulk in fear and worry, what happens is that chemical is released on and on and on and on and on. So it starts to affect our organs because it's putting too much stress on our heart, too much stress on our respiratory system because our breathing gets more shallow, things like that. So it's not healthy for us. It's physically not healthy for us to sit in fear and worry. So you're saying, so Cheryl, what the heck am I supposed to do? Don't worry about it. And I know that's it's easy to say, hard to do. But here's the deal. Somebody told me a long time ago, can't help how you feel. Okay, that was a bold-faced lie. What I have found out is we can help how we feel by choosing a different thought. Okay? All we have to do is choose a different thought to think about at that time. The same thing with that pharmacy. Whenever we go from this worry to this having a more optimistic attitude, what happens is a different chemical is released in our brain, and it is one that nurtures all of our extremities and our entire our core. The stress hormones go mostly to our extremities. The other hormones go to our core. And it's nourishing and it's life-giving and things like that. So whenever we do this, we put ourselves in a state of homeostasis, and our body's more relaxed, and then we can think clearer. Our reflexes are faster. We can operate things better. It's amazing what happens with you. I'm putting a note right here to go put that in your description. There's a company called HeartMath that explains all this better. I'm so wordy. But they explain all this better. There's techniques out there. I am actually a certified trainer. That's not what I do full time. If you do want to talk to me about that, please feel free to email me. But I will put the link to HeartMath. They've done the science for over 20 years on how this all operates. So whenever we sit in fear and worry, this stuff happens and it is unhealthy. And this says financial and material change. This is going to hold you up. This has the potential to cause you health problems, okay? Mental problems, spiritual problems. Here is your be optimistic, trust in the universe that you can handle this. Look, they said you have the strength to do this. This is a major arcana card. You have the strength to walk through this. This reading is going to be so long. I am so sorry. This to me is so important because I'm telling you, you don't want to go into these next 12 years carrying the same baggage that you've lugged around for so long. You know, you want it to change up for you. So when a worrisome thought comes into your mind, acknowledge it, acknowledge the reason it's there, and then release it, and immediately think of something that gives you peace in your heart, whether it is your child's smile, the sound of the waves at the beach, whatever it is that puts you in that peaceful state. Stop, breathe into your heart, have those thoughts, and allow your body to nurture itself in those moments. Okay, sorry. 8 of Summer. Moving on. They're saying it's time to move on. It's time to move on from that fear, that worry. Move on from that. For your own health's sake, please move on from that. And the 10 of Winter. Put those worries down. Put those burdens down. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Be more optimistic because this stuff, worry and fear, affects your health in ways that you just cannot imagine. Okay, I'm going to do a PS. I love PSs. While I'm shuffling these cards, I want to tell you thank you so much for all the subscribes. I am a new channel. I appreciate you guys so much. The subscribes, the comments, the likes, all that stuff. It's exciting and it's encouraging, and I am so excited to be here for you. I'm so excited to be here for you. I'm so excited to have the privilege of reading for you, that you would listen. It's amazing. These aren't my words. This is all God, the Holy Spirit, your spirit guides, the angels and the archangels. But I am so thankful to be able to be the vessel. Okay, so your PS. celebrate. Find reasons to celebrate. This is going to talk directly to that health card. Celebrate. It also speaks directly to the love card. Celebrate yourself. You're worthy of being celebrated, okay? And it also speaks to the money issue. Celebrate the changes that you're going to start making immediately. Remember the immediate action. What can you do immediately to start changing that? And celebrate this accelerated motion with your family and friends. Celebrate these relationships that are still here for you, okay? Celebrate. Look, you're getting the death card. This is total transformation. They're saying that if you can take and implement these advices that they've given you, you're going to walk into this next cycle, and 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to look back and not recognize your life. It's going to be this is a transforming time with this astrological situation going on. So yeah, your life could be totally different. Like you're going to look back and say, what the heck? It's transformation. And these advice cards that they've given you is about transforming things in your life, possibly that you haven't looked at recently, or that you've just decided you don't have time to look at for now. And then the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so what this is telling me is that they want you to okay, remember earlier, I promise I'm trying to cut this as short as I can. Remember earlier whenever I said this is going to affect your health, your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. Okay, so whenever I looked at this card, immediately I heard, they think we've left them. They have not left you. Your guides, your angels, your archangels, the Holy Spirit, God, they have not left you. But sometimes we get so caught up in the worries of day-to-day life, we can't hear them, okay? That's why people like me who do this stuff do it, because we know, we've been there, okay? This loss, they didn't leave you. It was no punishment. It was not a punishment. They did not leave you, okay? Libra, whatever it is that however this resonates in your life, I would love to hear it. I would love to know. I look forward to hearing from you again and seeing you again. And good luck with this 12-year cycle coming up. Okay, Libra. Have a great day. Bye.